Hey everybody, Amanda Olson, Master Mom here for Thursday night live with Master Mom. So you can ask your questions and anything and everything about kids and parenting, stuff that you would like to talk about. So thanks for tuning in. As you can see, I haven't had a chance to leave work yet. I got my uh, equipment and everything working at home, all set up, ready to go. I just the only thing that's missing is me. So I'm here, uh, but I'm here and I'm excited to talk to you guys about everything. I was going to start off today with a story about just one time that uh, I lost my patience with Keith. All right, with Keith Olson, my son. Um, we kind of laugh about it now, but I'll go ahead and tell the story. He was 16, so this was about 14 years ago or so. So he's 16, he's got his car, got a phone, got friends, getting out of the house, doing all kinds of stuff, new stuff for him. And I was home and I get a knock on my door. It's somebody that lives up the street. The first thing they say is Keith's okay, but he's been in an accident. So the man drives me up there to where Keith is, and it was just a single car, just his car, and there was ice involved, and I think it was just a curb something. But when he slid into the curb, it set off uh, his the bag that blows up. Anyway, so that kind of totaled his car. So I was glad he was okay and everything was going great, and I was, okay, all right, I can handle this. Well, it wasn't too many days later, like this is kind of all in the same weekend. He gets a speeding ticket and different car. And I was like, okay, we sat down, we talked about the dangers of speeding, how he's going to pay for this ticket, all of the things, you keep doing that, your insurance is going to go up. Just very structured, very calm, going over the things with Keith about why it was a bad idea for him to get a speeding ticket. All right. So totaled the car. He's okay. We got through that. We talked about driving on ice. We talked about all the things, just to look for, be cautious about, make sure that, you're looking for that black ice, all that, no problem. Gets a speeding ticket again, sit down, have a conversation, calm about it, everything. Well, he's out with some friends at the mall here in Johnson City, and he loses his cell phone. So when he gets home, uh, he says, "Mom, I was at the mall. I lost my phone." Well, I just lost it. I lost all amount of patience, all amount of self-control that I had, completely overreacted. I mean, calm through the car wreck, calm through the speeding ticket, completely lost my mind over him losing the cell phone. And I we laugh about it still today, but it wasn't my best moment. I had been doing so well as a parent, through all the tough times, but I think all that time had just kind of piled up, and I completely lost my cool. So I was just thinking about that story, about that time, and he reminds me, and he tells it to other people all the time. Yeah, yeah, Mom doesn't mind if I total my car and get a speeding ticket, but lose that cell phone, man, just forget it. She's out the charts with that. So, um, all parents do that. We lose it. We lose our cool. We've had enough. We just say things we regret. We yell. We act ways that we wish we hadn't. So tonight, I just kind of want to talk about that patience that is required often when you're working with your kids, and especially when they're 16 and everything they do is kind of new and they're going to be making mistakes. So if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to comment about that, I'd be happy to address that. Maybe you even have a story to tell. But the older I get, the more mature I get. And I was telling the students this the other day, and it actually hit me. the 22-year-old me would have done this, and the 52-year-old me would look back and have done things differently. And today, with the experience that I've had and just being through things, knowing that pretty much all this stuff is going to be okay, I do have a lot more patience than I did when I was a younger mom. So I would just encourage you guys that might be in those times where the kids are trying your patience. One, that's very normal. There's nothing wrong with you if you are feeling impatient with your kids. And two, it's you know, looking back on that time when I did lose my patience in that particular story, going back and after I calmed down and apologizing for my overreaction. That shows Keith, my son at the time, that I'm human and I'm willing to take responsibility when I go over the top. When I make a mistake, and we can sit down and you know, he was upset. Obviously, I was yelling at him, and I don't remember what I said, but I do remember being very emotional about it. And I'm sure I called him irresponsible or something along those lines. And so he was upset. He was, you know, uh, concerned and mad at me for being so upset about something that wasn't that big a deal. And we just laugh at it now. And at the time, we were able to sit down and say, "Look, okay, sorry." I was able to apologize about my overreaction, and he was able to accept my apology. Both take a nice deep breath, hug, sit down, watch some TV, relax, shake it off. And I think that's kind of the thing too. Is just keeping keeping it real with your kids and letting them know that you're human, that you're going to do great things, and you're also going to make big mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes will be involving your kids. Whether you were um, too lenient or too strict. So we're not going to be perfect every time. And that's kind of the topic of tonight, is just accepting the fact that there's going to be times when you mess up, but then following up and making sure that you own it if you mess up, own it if you are uh, overreacting. Once you calm down, sit down, talk with your kids, and let them know that, hey, yeah, I messed up. Here's how you handle it when you mess up. You apologize. You do what you can to correct it. You make a promise or hope that it doesn't happen again. And then hopefully the other party will accept your apology, forgive you, and you can move on. I think sometimes the best lessons learned are not when we get it all right, but when we mess it up and sometimes we get it wrong. When we do the right thing after we've done the wrong thing, that can be a really good lesson too. So if you find yourself in that situation where you've just kind of lost your patience with your kid, there's absolutely nothing wrong with sitting down and talking to them and explaining maybe the state you were in, why I lost my patience. Don't make excuses, but help them understand what it means sometimes to be human. And then you can also talk about, okay, I know better than this. I should have, you know, taken a deep breath before I just let my exhausted and, you know, emotions come out and yell at you and say things to you that were hurtful. I shouldn't have done that, and let them learn from that too. Say, okay, you're going to have times where, whether it's with your friends or with me or with a teacher or a coach or something, you're going to have times where you just feel like losing your cool, and it never. It, I don't know of a time when I've lost my cool that I was like, yeah, I'm really proud of that. Yeah, I really got upset and overreacted and yelled at somebody and hurt their feelings, and boy, I feel great about that. I can't really think of a time where I feel that was a good thing. Usually, and I think it's true for everybody, you look back on those times and you're like, okay, man, I wish I had had more self control. I wish I hadn't have done that. I probably made that first person feel terrible. And sometimes you can go back and apologize and correct, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't find that person. Maybe it was at a store or something. You lost your temper, and for somebody that was trying to check you out, or you know, you don't get a chance to. But you can learn from it and say, okay, when I'm in this particular state, whether it's tired, exhausted, stressed, preoccupied, whatever, when you're not in your best state, these are the times where I really should not act on how I feel. And that's just part of a process of maturing and growing up ourselves as adults. That it's something I've tried to, when you have those introspective moments, learn about myself. When I am tired and overly tired, that's not the best time for me to have a heart to heart conversation with somebody about something very important. It would be better for me to reschedule that conversation. Guys, I'm not going to be able to give you my best at this moment. Can we meet tomorrow, or something like that? Instead of trying to just push through and have the confrontation or the conversation or whatever, trying to just get through it and get over it. Um, you're not going to be at your best self, and especially if you're in a parenting role, caregiver role, leadership role, when you need to sit down and talk to someone, whether it's your child or a friend or a coworker, you really do owe it to them to give them your best self. So at those moments when you realize that you're not your best self, um, give them the opportunity. Let them be honest with them. Be human with them. Let them know I'm just, you're not going to get the best from me tonight. I've had a long day, or tomorrow I am completely slammed. I'm going to be so rushed talking to you. I'd rather sit down and have a chance to talk to you where we have more time and we can really really focus. So uh, your kids, you're the CEO. You're in charge of your family. You're in charge of your kids. You and your partner or your spouse. Y'all are in charge, and you have the right to say, okay, we need to have a conversation about this. Right now is probably not the best time. Let's talk about it tomorrow after dinner or something like that. And if I had taken that moment with Keith where I knew I was just like, you're killing me, Keith. You're stressing me out. All right. It's one thing after another. I'm really trying to be a good parent. You're making it hard for me to be patient. If I had thought through that before just getting out there and yelling at him and everything, um, well, I guess it all worked out. We have a funny memory to look back on, but it's not something I'm proud of. It would have been better for me to say, all right, I'm at the end of my rope. We're going to talk about this in the morning. That would have been a better way for me to handle it. So I just thought I would share that story and let everybody know that yeah, Master Mom is really cool. Master Mom does some great stuff, but Master Mom got there by making a lot of mistakes along the way. And hopefully, the point of one of the points of Master Mom is to help people, help parents not make the same mistakes I did. Trying to take a little more time and not lose your patience with your kids, because I see it. And sometimes the kids, push me. I know that when I'm tired, the red hair is going to take over. The little temper's going to come out, and so I really try to watch that when I'm tired and I need a serious conversation, or I got to work with kids. I got to stop and say, okay, you're tired. You're going to get out there and you're going to have a great time anyway. You're going to get out there. I want you to have, this is me talking to myself. You're going to get out there. You're going to have fun with the kids. You're going to look for the things that they're doing great. You're going to focus on that. And then when your job is done, then you can relax. Or the same thing with your kids. You've had a long day and they just want to play. They just want to be with you. They want to run around outside. They've got all this energy. go take a deep breath. You owe it to the people that are in front of you to give them your very best self and say, all right, mom's had a long day. I do want to play with you. Give me 15 minutes just to catch my breath and change my clothes, and we'll go play. And then put yourself in a mental state that you're prepared to focus and enjoy being with your kids. Um, or, the other way around. All right, guys, we can play for 30 minutes and then mom's really tired. She's going to have to put her feet up and take a break. And again, it's just being honest with your kids and letting them know that you're human, and giving them your best self, but letting them know that, hey, in order for me to give you my best self, I'm going to need a little time. I'm going to need a deep breath. I'm going to, with the confrontation with, not really confrontation, but with the loss of patience with Keith on that day, um, it's okay for me to say, I'm upset. I know everything's going to be okay. I'm pretty tired. Let's talk about this in the morning. If you have that opportunity to do that, hopefully this will be something that maybe sticks in your head the next time the kids are trying your patience. And it's not just teenagers. I mean, Keith was 16 in that particular instance, but I know the little kids, they get, they have so much energy and they just get rambunctious, and you're trying to talk to someone and they're swinging around on your leg or running here and there or laughing really loud, and it can be, tough. And quite honestly, that particular situation, when you're trying to talk to another adult and your child's kind of running around in circles. That is another lesson altogether. That's something that we can talk about at another time if you'd like. But really, tonight's goal was just to talk about being patient with your kids, knowing yourself, knowing when you're not going to be your best self, and when you're in that moment, when you're tired or distracted or preoccupied or busy, if you know that that's where you're at, try to make sure that the emotion that you let out, the words that you say, um, aren't things that are going to be something that you're sorry about, that you regret. You're going to regret yelling or saying things you wish you hadn't, being impatient. Just try to know yourself. And when that time comes around and you are in an agitated or not your best self state, and the kids are driving you a little bit crazy, or if they've done something that you're just like, really, um, just take that deep breath and table the conversation. Maybe you need to table it for 15 minutes, maybe you need to table it for the next day, um, but it's better, just to sleep on it and go to it and talk about it the next day. So looking at the comments here. Okay, my dad's approving the video and the audio. Thanks, Dad. And I know my daughter-in-law, Caitlin, gave up some of her time this afternoon to help me at home set everything up. I got a brand new microphone, a new webcam, all that kind of stuff. We got it working just great. And then here I am at work. Didn't get home to be able to use it, but it's all ready. Also, hopefully next week I'll be able to do that. But I had a great day at work. Met some wonderful folks. Some great new students that have joined the academy today. So that's been a very fun-filled day. It's always very exciting to see a student get their white belt. That very first belt. That's pretty exciting. So even though it's been a very long day, I am not in an exhausted, agitated state. I'm in a very good mood. So looking forward to going home and uh, having a good finish to a very positive and very good day. So I don't see any other questions except my dad wants to tell a story. Um, Sorry, Dad, we're out of time, and you'll just have to let me know what you wanted to talk about another time. Well, guys, thanks for listening, and I appreciate you checking in to Master Mom. Remember, you can always send me your questions at amanda@askmastermom.com, and I will be happy to talk to you about it personally or answer any of your questions. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night, and God bless you all.